The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to your Tuesday morning Espresso on the SDH Network, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Today, Atlanta's NWSL dreams may finally be realized. The U.S. men's national team and others have to make some roster changes, and global money moves are reshaping the soccer landscape from Mexico City to Madrid. Let's start here in Atlanta. The NWSL could be coming to town, and we could get an answer this evening. There's an event called Empower Her, Inspire All, and the event will celebrate, quote, women who lead, compete, and inspire through sport, honoring those whose paths to leadership were shaped by the chance to compete and be part of a team, and the mentors, coaches, and sponsors who supported them along the way. The event could also mark the start of the next chapter in Atlanta's women's professional sports story. Arthur Blank, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, both scheduled to attend. SDH will be there as well. We're around the corner from everywhere. Y'all know that by now. Updates throughout the evening on our social channels at Soccer Down Here. Reporting from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and others say that it's going to happen, Atlanta and the NWSL, and we could hear about that this evening. The expected fee is reportedly going to be around $165 million, which is substantially more than previous NWSL expansion fees. And I think it just underscores the growth of the league, but also how serious this project is going to be. The team would likely debut in 2027 or 2028. Facilities, talking about training ground, staffing, branding, all have to be built out. The youth development side of things has to be built out. Community partnerships. Obviously, there's advantages with Atlanta United already in place. The Atlanta Falcons, the wider AMBSE structure as well. But there's work to be done to get the team on the field. So 2027, 2028 feels like the right time. You have a Women's World Cup in 2027 in Brazil. That's an obvious thing to play off of. Really excited about this. This is the third women's professional soccer team in Atlanta after two iterations of the Atlanta Beat. The first one was pretty successful in downtown, starting at Georgia Tech and then playing at Herndon Stadium at Morris Brown. Unfortunately, that venue is no longer in working order. The second version of the Beat, not as successful. That league was not quite as successful either. The second version played in Kennesaw at Fifth Third Stadium, and that league lasted 3 years. That version of the Beat lasted 2. The first version of the Beat was one of the most successful teams in the WUSA. It lasted the full 3 seasons. Don't know what the brand would be. Don't know how it would all look. There's no real concrete information beyond what's been reported so far. But look, for a city that has become a hub for big soccer nights especially, youth development, all kinds of aspects of this, tonight could be a really special evening. So really looking forward to being there. Make sure you're following Soccer Down Here on all your social media platforms. You might want to turn your notifications on this evening as the sun goes down. Myself and Sophia Cupertino will be on site. We'll have pictures, we'll have reaction, we'll have video, we'll have all of that for you. I'll also talk more about it on Atlanta Soccer tonight this evening on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app starting at 10 p.m. Let's move on. U.S. men's national team, the roster has changed again heading into the November friendlies. Tyler Adams and Sean Zawadzki are out with injuries. Timmy Tillman joins camp in Philadelphia. Mauricio Pochettino's team plays Paraguay on November 15th in Chester, PA. Uruguay on November 18th in Tampa. Also this morning, kicking off here in just a bit, the U17s at the World Cup take on the Czech Republic at 9:45, needing only a draw to win their group after 2 straight wins. Atlanta United's Cooper Sanchez is in the starting lineup. 9:45 this morning for kickoff. The NWSL announced their 2025 award finalists. Kansas City currently lead the way, obviously. Now, they were upset in the playoffs, but they had a record-breaking season. Temwa Chawenga and Bia Zanerato headlined the MVP list, also joined by Delphine Cascarino, Esther Gonzalez, and Manaka Matsukubo. Fan voting runs through Wednesday at 8 p.m. with the inaugural NWSL Awards live on ESPN2 on November 19th from San Jose, ahead of the NWSL Championship. Let's talk about some big money, not just what Atlanta is spending on NWSL, but an Atlanta-based investor named Mark Spiegel and his Innovatio Capital have bought Querétaro FC this summer for just over $120 million, one of the first foreign majority stakes in Liga MX. Now, we've talked about this before, but it's part of a much larger shift that's starting to get more attention. Liga MX is restructuring. They're trying to modernize a little bit. They're talking about centralizing their TV rights. They are in the process of banning multi-club ownership. They are revisiting a potential $1.25 billion commercial deal with Apollo Global Management. Liga MX games draw 500,000 U.S. viewers per match. That is more than any other league in the United States. Yes, including the Premier League. With 45 million Mexican fans in the United States, the ceiling for these teams is enormous. Mark Spiegel calls Mexico's top division, quote, the best blend of affordability and growth potential in world football. If you see MLS and Liga MX work together more, and Leagues Cup can be a part of it, maybe it can expand, maybe it can run similar to a Champions League. We'll have to wait and see what kinds of ways they could devise for this. You would have the biggest competition in the Western Hemisphere, and you could have one on, in terms of eyeballs and in terms of money investment and all of those things, you could have a competition that's on par with any other one, including the Champions League in Europe, in the world. It's just a fascinating situation of where this could go. Stay tuned. There's going to be more investment in Mexico, and it's going to be also involving other U.S. money going there. Also, there's other U.S. money going to Spain. Speaking of Apollo, the same firm that could be involved in this Liga MX investment is now the majority shareholder of Atlético Madrid. The deal values the club near $2.9 billion U.S. It gives Apollo roughly 55% of ownership. CEO Miguel Ángel Gilmarín and President Enrico Cerezo, they stay in charge. The new capital fuels the Ciudad del Deporte. It's a sports and entertainment complex next to the Metropolitano, the stadium that Atleti play at. It's part of the new era of power in soccer. It's a model for how traditional clubs can grow commercially without losing their identity. This is still the Atleti that you know, but they're going to be more of a major player financially, which is something that has eluded them over the years. Very interesting to see what this does for Atleti. Let's get into the refill, some quick hits from around the world. Spain, the Federation and Barcelona continuing to fight over Lamine Yamal. He was pulled from the Spanish national team due to a procedure as he is continuing to deal with groin injury issues. It's a little unclear here. A lot of the headlines are talking about the battle between the coaches, but it sounds like beyond that, the sporting directors, Aitor Carranca from the Federation and Deco from Barcelona, it sounds like they've been in communication. At least that's what Carranca is saying. I don't know. Maybe this is a little overblown for the tabloids and the headlines, but it has been a weird situation. There's been more weirdness prior to this. It is a little strange that this news and this procedure came out when it did, and it wasn't talked about before the call-up list. So, I don't know. I don't think it's going to affect Spain going to the World Cup, but they have to clinch that. They have to take care of business in this upcoming window. Germany, they can clinch their World Cup berth with 2 wins this week. They're not trying to experiment. They're not trying to just look at things and mess around. They're trying to get the job done. Japan, their federation is very positive about their chances next summer. I mean, they say they're targeting a World Cup final appearance. That might be a little out of reach, but can Japan get to a quarterfinal, for example? Can that be a realistic target? Yeah, I think so. It's no guarantee by any stretch. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they are one of the 8 best teams in the world. We had this conversation about the U.S. men's national team. I think the U.S. is in a very similar situation. They are not among the top 8, but they could finish in the top 8 in this tournament. I think Japan is in the same way. They are a top 20 team in the world. If you have a good tournament, you can get to the top 8. Can you have a miracle run and go further? Absolutely. Like, crazier things have happened. Is it likely? No. Should the expectation be higher? No. Should the hope be higher? Yes. That's the difference. And that's where we have to talk about how we judge these things. I would love to see Japan make a run. You know, the team that I think has the opportunity to break out of this spot, being a top 20 team and having I think a realistic goal of getting to the final 16 and a stretch goal of getting to the final 8. I think the team that can break into the realistic goal of getting to the final 8 on a regular basis now is Morocco. And that's what's so interesting about where things are currently. Morocco are your U20 World Cup champions. They got to a semifinal last time around. If they get to the final 8 this time, in my opinion, that solidifies them as a top 10 team in the world, not a top 20. I'm trying to use like very broad descriptors here of where teams fall because, in my opinion, there is a small group of teams that have a chance to win this tournament, really have a chance to win it. It doesn't mean somebody else can't. It means going in, who are your favorites? Who are realistically expecting to be in the final? Argentina, Spain, France, England, Brazil, Germany. Who else? Realistically, that's kind of where you are. The Dutch, I mean, that's kind of where you are. I think Portugal is not at that level. I don't know who else would be. Are there then another group of teams that can be the Turkey from 2002, the South Korea from 2002, the Morocco from 2022, the Croatia from 2018? Is there somebody else who can make those kind of runs? Yeah, some of the ones at the back end of the list. Yes, Morocco is going to be on that list. Can the U.S., Mexico? Yes. Japan, South Korea? Yes. That's what's so fun about this tournament. I feel like it is a small number of teams who have a reasonable expectation to win it, but then there's a large number of teams that have an expectation of getting to the final 8. You get to the final 8, anything can happen. You can have a deflected goal. You can have an early red card for the opponent. You can have all kinds of things. So I do like that Japan is talking very big and very positively. I think the final and setting that as a bar is too much. To me, it's the round of 16 as the realistic, that's success. You get there, that's success. You get to the final 8, you are ecstatic. And that's where I think the U.S. is as well. So we'll talk more about this as we go. We're going to have a special soccer over there on Wednesday night. We'll get you ready for World Cup qualifying, which will start on Thursday. 18 spots left to be decided in this upcoming window of matches, with a couple more spots being booked, well, quite a few more spots being booked for the March playoffs. UEFA and CONCACAF will fill out the rest of the qualified teams in November. Africa, Asia, CONCACAF will fill out the rest of the Interconfederation playoff spots, and UEFA will have their own playoff spots booked by almost this time next week, at the end of next Tuesday. So Atlanta soccer tonight, next Tuesday, is going to be a very hectic show with everything going on around the world and everything being finalized. Speaking of World Cup 2026, President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico says that their infrastructure projects are on schedule to be completed ahead of the tournament. A lot of investment in the international airport in Mexico City, roads, transit, all kinds of different things. The Estadio Azteca, its upgrades, that should be ready by March with an inauguration game for the newly renovated stadium. Reportedly going to be against Portugal, who is also expected to be in Atlanta in March to play the U.S. Croatia is expecting to be in the United States in March for friendlies against, right now, according to Croatian reports, Brazil and Colombia. Now, that could change if they are drawn into a group with one of those two teams. But right now, the expectation is playing Brazil in Orlando in March and Colombia in New York in March. Closer to home, Soccer for Good, the Southern Crescent Soccer Foundation hosted their 5th annual after-school jamboree in Henry County on Friday night. 7 elementary schools, 140 students, 250 family members turned out. Woodland Elementary lifted the trophy for fall of 2025. Wild tiebreaker coin flip in the semifinals. Yeah, it's about having a trophy and having and competing, but it's grassroots soccer. It's community impact. It's bringing joy to the kids, to the families. That's the heartbeat of the game, and it's awesome to be involved in everything happening with the Southern Crescent Soccer Foundation and Henry County, a place where I went to high school and a place that I'm very excited to see continue to grow on the soccer map. That'll do it for the Morning Espresso on Tuesday, November 11th. We could have some NWSL news tonight. Again, turn the notifications on from Soccer Down here on your X app, on your Instagram app specifically, TikTok as well. If you're not following us on TikTok, we're there. We're getting a little busy on TikTok. Also, tons of other things happening in the world right now. It is an international break, but that's not stopping the money flowing in Liga MX at Atlético Madrid. The game keeps evolving. We are right here for every moment. The SDH Network, where every pass, voice, and dream connect. And we're always around the corner from everywhere. Talk to y'all soon.